This is Joe Tai for Tai Motors. Today we're going to talk about purchasing a vehicle, kununua gari. Call it brand new cars, call it a new import, call it a locally used. The choice is yours. Leo tutaanza na gari zero mileage. Personally, I don't know somebody who's bought a zero mileage among my kwa mabeshte zangu wote. When I look at my friend list, there's nobody I know who has bought a zero mileage car. Maybe for commercial purposes, but for personal use, I don't know. Anyway, zero mileage cars are the best deal because when unajifungulia, when unajistaki, I don't want to be vulgar, but you are the first user of that car. I see mostly people who buy zero mileage cars are corporations, my universities, banks, and the likes, or even schools. For mwananchi wa kawaida, the zero mileage that can make sense is commercial vehicles or PSVs. But for maybe your personal or private passenger cars, very few people I know can manage to buy zero mileage vehicles. Maybe it's because of the cliche that they are expensive, or maybe people just can't access them. Most of them are not the common ones that we see imported from Japan. So unapata, they are not very common, right? No? Like now, let's say instead of buying an Axio, there's the Corolla 140 or there's a Corolla version meant for the local market. Ili unapata Toyota Kenya. They are the same, but slightly facelift or slightly detuned for different markets. No, they are a bit different. As you can see on the different photos there's a difference even in the looks and performance. No. So ingine inaka sio common sana because people like copying each other. Unapata wamenunua ile yenye imekuwa imported kutoka Japan. Let's go straight to the facts that are let's go straight to the facts. When purchasing a zero mileage car, there's not much to deal with here. A zero mileage car is a new car, a brand new car, of course. You don't expect any fault, of course. Most distributors of cars, they give warranties. So the most important thing here, unaangalia which is the best after-sale services that I can get from buying from a certain company. What do they give after me buying the car? Do they service the car? How long does the warranty take? Secondly, you'll have to, or let's say this is supposed to be the first thing to look at when getting a zero mileage car. Identify the type of car that you want. Do research on the car that you want. Tembea, go to this outlet, go to the other outlet, different companies. Na fanya research yako. Watch online reviews. You can know the kind of car that you actually need. From there, angalia hizo after sale services that they give. Which one gives your best? Which is the most friendly for you? Ukishatoka hapo hivyo, get your car. Drive it. I'm pretty sure that any zero mileage car lazima itakupatia kama 10 years ndio uanze kuangalia, because most of the cars we import, these mtumbas, are 8 and above, and 7-8-year-old cars. Ndio. But they come in and serve somebody for like 4 years. Ajaguza anything. So buying a zero mileage car, it means that you will get 8 to 10 years trouble-free. Even the troublesome models, you kinunua, like for the first 8-10 years, trust me, you'll be trouble-free. But now the downside comes to price. Zero mileage cars are, of course, expensive to purchase. Let's not talk much about that. Let's go to the new imports. Importing, some people call them new cars, but they're actually not new cars. They are new imports, not locally used. You can decide to import your car directly from Japan, Singapore, or any other country that you want. But it's usually easier to go to a dealer who has already imported the car, cleared it, paid tax for it. Just go buy it from him. It's less trouble, though it may be slightly, it may cost you a few $100,000s more, which will be the profit of the dealer, but it will be less trouble for you. Identify a good dealer. Of course, some can come in through referrals and stuff. Identify a good dealer who will be trustworthy, hamtazungushana or anything. Go visit him. Or you can even do window shopping. That's after identifying the car that you want, that suits your needs. Go visit your dealer, visit 1 or 2, 3, 4 dealers. Don't forget to tag along a mechanic. This is not a 0 mileage car. It may look new hapo kwa showroom ama kwa yard, but this is not a 0 mileage car. It has no warranty, trust me. Okay, a few people give warranties on maybe engine and gearboxes, but trust me, most people don't give warranties. Or if the warranty is there, it's very subtle. Visit the car with your mechanic. Let him inspect the car. I remember some time back, a neighbor imported a car. It was I think it was something like a 2013 Corolla Fielder. When the car once had the bumper was held in a stone held the bumper and it came off. And trust me, your bumper ilikuwa imeshonwa ndani. It had stitches. Everybody was like, no, but he said, no, I imported the car, received it at the port. So maybe the doctoring had been done abroad. It was a very funny scenario. So just inspect the car. Angalia wengine wa change vitu, some people are crafty. Napata hata maybe the suspension is faulty when it's here. Gari imekuja ikiwa sawa. Wala wametoa zile vitu sawa, wameuza, wamekuachia vitu mbwakni. Yeah? Please inspect the car thoroughly. Even though we all know that most of these cars that are imported, a very big percentage are accident cars abroad, but we shouldn't really care because they are repaired professionally. But check out for any shoddy thing. There could be probable leakages on the engine or stuff. Just inspect the car. Get your transaction done. What I'm sure of when dealing with new imports, hamtasumbuana na buyers. Those are professionals you're dealing with. Get all the due procedures done. Drive your car home. Now we come to the elephant in the room. Purchasing a locally used car. Hapa sasa ndio kuna issue. There's a lot involved here. Maybe be the condition of the car, the ownership status. There's a lot to deal with here. One, you cannot avoid online. Actually, the online platforms are the easiest way to identify the car that you want. Ukianza kutafuta gari kama mtumba, kama nguko, sometimes it's most people, the working class people, or maybe according to today's economy, we are too busy to start looking for a car manually. So it's easier to go after work, una browse simu yako, you say, hey, ile gari iko sawa. Gari iko wapi? Iko Rumuruti. Call that guy. Oh yeah, I'm seeing you seeing that car, hiyo Fielder ni aje, iko bei mzuri. Ambia, yeah, that hiyo iko sawa. Oh, iko sawa. So how can I view the car? Anakuambia gari iko sawa. Kuja Rumuruti nikuletee. Unaamka asubuhi, unaanza safari. Ama unaenda Bomet, unatoka Nairobi. Or unaenda, they also like using Kajiado. Unapiga hesabu, unafika on your way, tell them, I'm going to Kajiado. Kidogo unasikia tu, nilikuwa nimetoka kidogo, najua gari ilikuwa haijakuja. So, gari iko sijui wapi, tuma 5,000, niweke mafuta nikuletee hapa pale uko. Or better still, mtu anaweza kuambia, tuma mafuta nikuletee pale uko. Hakuna haja kujisumbua. Tuma mafuta nikuletee gari pale uko. So, there is no single time that you're supposed to go send money to anybody before doing any transaction, because ukimtumia pesa ya mafuta, what are you buying there? What transaction are you making there? Utaona tu kidogo ukishatumia pesa, kidogo simu inazima, utafanyaje? Actually, there's also another scam. I saw it somewhere. It once happened to me. I didn't realize it has come. Mpaka nikajua kwamba it's some people making money on that. You identify a car, inakufurahisha. Maybe they say this car, it's a, on my case it was a BMW 3 Series. It was a 5 Series. It was a E34, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, I've gone, tried to see the car. It was around Kikuyu huko. It was Kikuyu or Kabete, I don't remember well. Going to see the car, they had noted this car is going to cost 350,000. Yeah, we went there. We stood, I met the purported seller. We met, we exchanged greetings and we talked a lot. He's saying, kidogo tu, naambia kijana alete gari. We sat here having some coffee. Kidogo after some minutes, gari ikakuja. The car came. Before he told me that, the boy who had come, he told me, hey, sasa unajua kijana ameleta gari, hebu mpe 500 hapo, gari yetu ndio imefika hapa hivi. I gave the guy 500 shillings, akarudi. Yeah, mpatia asante, everyone so okay, yeah, the guy has brought the car. Gari ndio hii. So I'll not be conned ati nitume pesa mafuta, gari tunaiona ndio hii hapa. Is the exact car that's on the post. Patia kijana 500, tembe kidogo. Okay, nikapea kijana 500. The guy went. And then the guy changed all of a sudden. The car is 500,000. I was like, oh no. Sema kama uwezi, wacha mimi niende. Katoka. He got in the car and drove off. But now the funny thing is that kumbe the car ilikuwa hapo tu nyuma. Hii pale anasema sijui imetoka sijui hapo wapi, ni hapo nyuma tu. So I tried to see gari inaenda wapi. Kutoka hivi napata tu hapo palikuwa tumekaa, gari imetoka nyuma ya just the same building hapo nyuma tu. So the 500 shillings are given the boy, that's the hustle. No, if they do that to about 10 people, that's like 5K. And the hustle is going down. No. So I came to realize, actually it's very easy to be conned when you purchasing a second-hand car. So these are the things you're supposed to look at. 1, never go alone. Tafuta mechanic ambao unamwamini. Tag along a friend who knows about cars. Get your mechanic and a friend. Asikuwe mmoja. The mechanic can be it can be corrupted. The owner can tell you like if you ukipitisha gari iko na makosa fulani, ukipitisha I'll give you a cut, which of course may be bigger than what you, the buyer, is going to give him as the mechanic who is going to inspect the car. So he'll definitely go for the bigger cut on the other side. So at least when they are two, it will be harder to play them, to convince them both, because it's just fast. No. At least itapunguza, it may not minimize, but itapunguza the probability. So take a mechanic that you trust, tag along a friend or a relative who knows about cars. Fika pale, let them inspect the car. Kwanzia the validity of the car. Angalia gari kama ni accident, angalia kama ni muzigo. With muzigo I mean hizo gari za Uganda or South Sudan that have been fraudulently changed to Kenyan without the due process that's required. Utangalia, let them bring the documents, check the documents whether they match the engine number and the chassis number. Zote is in the match. Look at the seat belts, uko chini, to the manufacturing, to the production date, tally the one in the logbook. A few things kama hizo, no. Look at the engine for leakages. Angalia engine iko na leakages. How does it sound? Have a keen ear. Any red flag, the slightest red flag, is something of concern. Don't assume anything. When you're done with that, you've noticed the car, engine iko sawa, inatembea vizuri. The car has doesn't look like an accident car. It doesn't look like a fake, I don't know how to call it in English, a fake car. The car sounds well, mkingurumisha. After that, please test drive the car. Test drive gari, do a hilly place. That's 1. 2, 2, make sure you give it a long distance drive. Usiogope kuchoma 3,000 5,000 ya mafuta. That's hivyo gari imekufurahisha. There's a lot that you may know that you couldn't have known. Over a long distance, overheating problems will show up. Kama radiator iko na issue, they will show up, of course. Over a long distance, suspension problems will show up. Over a long distance, there's a lot of things that will show up. Any hidden thing, or kama alikuwa amefunika engine na there's this funny mischievous thing that they add to prevent engine noises. Ile inaitwaje? There's something honey wanaongeza, wana top up so that sometimes the engine noises are muffled up and hautasikia kama gari inaenda kunok. Over that long distance utasikika. And make sure mko na mwenye gari. Ingia nyote hapo, piga gari, weka mafuta, piga hata 50 kilometers. Utapata umejua mingi ambayo ungejua. Test the car over a rough road, non-tarmac road. That's actually you'll be testing the suspension of the car. Hapo ndio utajua what needs to be replaced and what does not need to be replaced. When you're done with that, make sure you do an NTSA search to check the status, the ownership status of the vehicle. Is it really, actually on the search, things need to match everything that's on the logbook. And is this person that's selling the car, is he the real owner? If not, let him explain who is selling the vehicle on behalf. No. Aya, when you validated that, gari iko sawa, everything is okay. Then, before that, I had forgot to tell you that never carry cash. Don't carry cash and don't make cash transactions. Just make sure it's a bank transaction or worse, M-Pesa transaction. Let it be electronic, whichever the case. When it's done, you should be having an agreement that is advocate certified. There's a debate on mileage. Some people can doctor the mileage. That's when we come to inspect, we see that the physical condition of the car is the most important thing. If you come mileage, they don't really matter. You can get a car that's maybe 120,000 kilometers on the odometer, lakini the things that car did while it was on motion, your engine, or maybe the servicing was very poor, and you'll get one that's very high on the mileage, but it was religiously serviced using genuine oils and parts. But it's in good condition than the other car that has a low mileage. So mileage is not something that you should really matter, especially on these older vehicles, because ukikuwa keen sana na mileage, hapo sasa ndio you'll start experiencing doctored mileages. But if you get a lower mileage car, it will be an advantage to you. A lower mileage car that has a good service history. That's a plus. You've test driven the car. You've done all due diligence. Don't forget to replace the new generation number plates. Hakuna haja kusema ati nitafanya baadaye. Some things utasahau hata utafanya. You'll just keep on procrastinating. Just malizana na hiyo story. Get your new generation number plates. Hiyo ukifanya change ya NTSA, when you're changing the ownership, apply for them. It's around 3,000 shillings. Apply for that. Malizana na hiyo kesi. So that when you start with the car, it's a new umeanzia nayo. This is the parting shot. When you're buying a locally used car, don't exhaust your budget. Leave room for eventualities. Your budget is 500,000. You go get a car worth 500,000 worth 550,000 Kenya shillings. Maybe unasema, you call home, hey mama, send me 50,000, I top up here. You've already exceeded your budget. Haya, you bought that car. Ukitoka pale, ikiharibu ka kitu, already you kona deni ya 50,000 umeomba. you need to replace that. Hapo ndio mashida zako za magari zinaanzia. But let's say get that 500,000 that you have at hand. Get a car worth 350,000 or 400,000 the highest. You'll be having a margin for eventualities. Maybe umechukua gari ya 350,000 afu you've kaguad it vizuri with that fundi of yours. With your mechanic, you've inspected it thoroughly. Sometimes you can get some faults. That doesn't necessarily mean that ukipata shida kwa gari you leave the car. That should be a bargaining point. You've gotten that the car is a slow or a non-responsive gearbox. That should be a bargaining point. If the seller, of course, is willing. No, this car is hii iko na shida hii na hii na hii. This one we'll have to subtract, we have to bargain against that. So that it will leave you a margin to purchase another gearbox or even engine or even suspension service, because you have the balance, you have the money. But when you've exhausted your budget, utachukia, and maybe that's your first car, you may not like the experience at all. Till next time, my name is Joe Tai. See ya.